Has anyone noticed that when I look at myself for some reason with my thematic goggles on, I look like I've got a really weird mustache on top of my mouth? I haven't. It is honestly just the texture clipping my face. But with my goggles revealing, I've got a weird freaky mustache. Oh dear. Anyway, hi guys, this is Vralka back with the next episode, with the next part of my last episode before the world download comes out. Hopefully you'll enjoy this as well as the other parts. This is part 2 out of 3. The world download is in the description, but there will be spoilers because part 3 isn't up yet. It's also in the top left hand side of your screen now. So without further ado, we're just going to get back to where we were when we left off at the last episode. We've now got our turtles set up. Above here is the obsidian chest that I used to use to store metals. That's going to be used to store books that it enchants, because this is going to be a huge chest. And this here is the ender chest, which I'm going to create books in. So it goes brown, white, because that's what a book looks like, sort of. Right, so here you have a little error because I did test the program, but we just can go edit startup. This program is fully functional so long as you have books behind it and your output chest is above it. It's not very difficult to change that, but again, you need to do it if you like. As always, pastebin code is in the description. Also going to be sitting there in the top left hand side of your screen, and I'm going to show you the code now and show you the pastebin code going up. So basically it has this, at the very start for instance, it says XPT, so experience table, or enchanting table is what I called that, peripheral.wrap right. The whole idea is it says every time it starts up the program, it says, okay, I've got an enchanting table on my right hand side. Next is it sets up a local variable called curXP. Now that's the current XP level, so xpt.getLevels. Then it's got function enchant book, which I'll come back to in a second, and it's got the running while loop. So it says while true do, so it'll do this forever. It says if the current level is greater than or equal to 30, then enchant book, so that runs the enchant book function, stop. Then it stores the variable current XP into what's called old XP, because this is current XP at this point is the experience it has when it starts the loop, and it says current XP is xp.getLevels. The whole idea is then I've got what the XP used to be and I've got what the XP now is. And then it says if the old XP is not equal to the current XP, then print out current level is current XP, stop. Sleep for 10 seconds. Now I find that 10 seconds is a good value because otherwise it just sits there going XP's current level 22, current level 23, current level 24, and it just takes a while and it's just no point really. You could have a higher refresh rate, but again it just keeps saying the same thing. I'll be honest, once you get to level 30 you're only going to lose out on a very few experience points before it's then enchanted another book. So that's pretty simple. The enchant book function here, what it does is it turns around, so it turns right twice. Make sure it's got slot 1 selected, even though I haven't got any functions that do change the slot. I just got that just to be sure. Select slot 1, sucks up. Now, because it's sucking from a chest which I only plan on having books in, that doesn't matter that I'm not then filtering it. But then what it does is it drops one fewer items than it's got in slot 1. So that's going to be dropping every book except for 1. It's then going to turn back round to be forwards and then say enchant 30 levels onto the slot and then drop up. That's then going to drop the enchanted book up, and then from up it's then going to be ready to continue. So then end, and that's the end of that. So pastebin put startup connecting to pastebin.com. There you go. This is the code, ladies and gentlemen. Take this code and it will run your XP turtles, assuming you've got that same setup. As you can tell, if you want your chest somewhere different, you're going to have to change enchant book. That's not too hard. All you have to do is change the turn rights and left. You have to change drop up to drop where it's facing or whatever if you want it to drop the enchanted books somewhere else. So that's that. I'm going to leave that there and not use it right now while we go and set up the next system. The next system is going to be what you definitely didn't see. I may have actually blocked it out, but What I told you you didn't see. Whoa. Oh. No, you're not allowed to explode, and you're gonna have to go away. Just die. You stupid skeleton. Okay. So, it's what I told you you didn't see. 26 buckets, and now that's got water in. Okay, so that's that oil spillover. Right. It was a feeding station. The whole idea is I'm going to have a feeding station set up. Oh, there was a bit of lag. I'm not sure what that was from. But feeding station set up. There we go. So what I'm going to do is probably... I'm not sure where I'm going to set it up. But that's okay because I'm going to have to be right back anyway when I go to set it up. Actually no, we'll set it up over here. Over there. In the Great Wood Forest, if you like. I'm going to set up a breeding and killing station. And I'm also then going to set up... Oh, that's doing really well. I need to find a use for it though. Anyway, and we're going to set up an automatic book creating machine. Which would be pretty sweet. So, without further ado, I'm going to be right back. Right now we have everything we need to set this place up. First of all, we're going to have to get rid of some bits and bobs around here. Primarily these great wood trees. So we will... Where is it? I've lost it again. Sickle. First step. We're going to go up here. And sickle down the place. Then we're going to access the stream it all. And then, lo and behold, we're going to hollow out a small area underground. Because I don't want everything here showing. Particularly the golems I'm used to farm some of the base materials. So, we might have the cow killing upstairs. Oh, that's right, I don't think I've properly explained what I'm going to do. So, what we're going to do is create a system for automatically making books. Now, of course, the easiest way to get leather is through soul shards, and you just make a tier 5 soul shard of cow. That's very easy, and you just set it to go, and it makes leather for you. But that's quite boring, so I have the feeding station that you've seen me make. I'm trying to steer away from using the soul shard because, well, I've already got one. If I start playing around with that too much, I might get too many mobs or some other problem, and I'd rather just experiment with different parts of the mods, because, well, if I'm not having fun, why am I bothering? So. Oh. Fell off. So, what I'm going to do now, other than create the leather, in order to make books, of course, you know we need paper. I'm struggling with my words right now, I'm not sure why. But hey, in order to create paper, we need sugarcane. So that's something I'm going to farm. I've got some Zycorium soil, which is something I've been playing about with recently, working out how it works, things like that. It's pretty cool. It basically just speeds up growth, as far as I can tell. Now, I have heard you can stack it, but I've also heard that causes lag. Of course, I have heard that just about everything in Feed the Beast causes lag, and I will break some quite shocking news to all of you. If you're thinking about frame per second lag, technically, everything you ever do on your computer will cause lag. Everything you do causes the graphics card to reinterpret something, which will cause it to have to think for a second, which of course reduces the frame rate you can get. So, breaking news, everything causes lag. But I have heard that Zycorium soil does actually cause exceptional amounts when stacked, but I think that's probably only when it's stacked to a silly degree. And well, I don't plan on doing that now. We probably won't stack it, but we might if we've got extra soil. One thing we're going to need for the feed station, however, is a supply of wheat. Now I have things I can do with seed oil, so I'm not too worried about generating seeds, too many seeds. I'm just going to barrel them up and think about use for them later. But once we've gotten our seeds, and our wheat and our sugar and our leather. I've then got 2 fabricators to create our books. Of course, first fabricator is going to be to create, what am I talking about? It's going to create paper out of sugarcane, and hopefully a fabricator can pull out of, which is something I've not tested, an adjacent barrel. Now I know they pull out of adjacent inventories, so don't go telling me that, because I already know that. What I've not tested is whether or not they can pull out of adjacent barrels, because barrels are picky as to which direction they're pulled out from. But I know for a fact that Zycraft tanks aren't picky about which direction they pull out from, and will pull out from just about every direction. So that doesn't particularly help me decide which one's going to work, but I'm sure we'll come to a decision soon, and if not, we can just set up a simple chest, even though it's a little less storage capable, but you know, we'll do what we can. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to fast track all of this stuff. I'll probably put some nice music to it, you know, get a bit of a groove on while you guys sit back and relax while I do all the hard work. See you in a second. So then what do cows all grow up in? Well, because we're going to kill them, they grow up in a barn, and it's just time for them to deal with that. So we're just going to create this here, a very quick little barn structure. It doesn't even have to be that big. Probably shouldn't be, actually. Create them for tall. Oh, need one more there. There we go. And then we'll get some of these, but we're all going to micro block them. Because by doing this, as you can see, I've taken them and quadrupled, because I doubled and then doubled again. I quadrupled the number of blocks I've got, and well, in fact, I can just use these as regular blocks, basically. Although it will take 2 per block, if you like. I can still use an awful lot of these. Sorry about my voice. Can still use an awful lot of these, and as far as it's concerned, these will pretty much act like the normal slabs. Oh, lightning. But it also lets me use different... Oh, my barn's thinner this way. I didn't anticipate that. Okay, we'll do... No, I won't. I don't know if anyone has seen a barn with a solid state door, but they're really quite clever. They work having 2 doors, basically. And but I'll explain that in a second. But we'll just do this for now. The whole idea behind these doors are that by having one door this way and then another door in a similar fashion here, you can basically make it really, really, really difficult for anything to get out. Yeah, basically. It's not too hard to make either, so we'll go with it. Basically, I don't need my cows to... Well, I will need them to stay in here, so I will make it locked, if you like, but it's not exactly going to be a difficult thing to do. No, not there. There we go. Right, so the inside of my barn is all going to be very, very small, as you can see. But then the inside of the barn's going to do this. On one wall. I said on one wall and then done it on 2. I meant on 2 walls and I've done it on 3. What I'm going to do, because this will take a while, because micro blocks just take a while. I'm not going to time lapse this. What I'm doing is I'm just going to skip this, because if I can keep this bit short, then we can try and get more into the episode, and makes it much more likely we'll get a world download out. That would be ideal, really. Basically, optimum scenario here is we get a world download out for you all this episode. Why is that block there? I don't know. Apparently it's not a foolproof axe, because that happened. Anyway, I want this guy. This repair enchant is seriously useful, especially when your weapon is this silly quick. I don't know if you could tell when I time warped, but this place was honestly just wow. It really was. I was touching the grass and it was gone. And of course it does this in swathes of 9 at a time, so it was incredibly quick. Right, so what's going to happen now is I want to cut up some glass. And the reason we're cutting up glass is so that we can make a nice window here. Yeah, that'll do. So by making these here, as you can see I've only used 3 of these, and I got 4 from a block. So even when I'm trying to basically conceal the block, I only use the same as a normal block. So these micro blocks really do help. And of course, well, that is hollow inside, that's way too small for a mob to spawn. So we're going to use these panels again. Ooh. I don't know why that was having issues. It's probably because I was standing on a block, to be honest. How does that look from the outside? That looks sort of stupid. The advantage, however, of course, with these, as opposed to the glass panes, the actual glass panes, is I can break these ones. And actually I don't want that there. Or here. So we're going to have it solid topped. And there. And break this. Right, I told you I was going to skip it and then failed to skip it. So I'm going to stop faffing about here and just cut. Oh guys, we are so nearly done, but I do have to clip the episode here, I'm afraid. We are so close to getting that world download finished, but it is in the description if you want spoilers. It's also up in the top left hand side of your screen now. As always, it's been a pleasure recording and posting this for you. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, comment and subscribe. It lets me know that you all watch these videos, that you all enjoy them, and it lets me know what you want to see next. It also helps me out so much, you have no idea. Right, so as always, this has been Vralka. Thank you for watching. Ta-ta for now.